Hi. So we are about to go on an adventure, one that I don't even know where we're going. But today is April 5th, and we have the new moon in Aries. And I feel like I have a bunch of random messages that need to come out for a few people, a bunch of people, I don't know. But this is the feeling that I have, is I have a bunch of energy behind me, or I have a bunch of people in a room behind me that need me to deliver some messages for somebody. And they don't necessarily fit in with the horoscope readings that I do. So I am planning on just doing some random readings over the weekend. And then I'll name them once I figure out what they're about. I think this first one is going to be, this is going to be for people, and it could be guys or girls, females or males, masculine or feminine. But it feels like it's going to be for people who are in free fall. People who are starting the dark night of the soul, the ones that are in the middle of chaos, crisis, the rug has been pulled out from underneath of them, their foundation has crumbled, and they suddenly do not know what the hell is going on. And I can speak of that happening back in 2008 when the real estate market tanked. So I know where you're at. You don't know which side is up and down and left and right, and you don't know where to go next. So, and I also feel this is for a lot of people who may be either lost their job, trying to find a new job, wanting to leave an old job or go to a new job, or maybe on their life path or their purpose in life or something. I'm trying to figure out how to say this. So you guys are going to have to just kind of go with the flow here, because whatever comes out in however way it comes out. And I don't know if it'll make a whole lot of sense. But the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use the life purpose cards. So maybe that will help differentiate for you if this is going to resonate for you, if something in this life purpose stuff comes out that makes sense to you. So but then again, you know, there may be something that comes in 10 minutes later that does resonate. So watch me the whole thing if you want. Don't watch me, I don't care. Whoever needs to hear this will, and that's the first card. So let's just get some different cards here and see where they take me. Because like I said, I don't have a clue what's going on here. This is not my normal format. But it's like I feel my heart feels like I'm like excited about this. I'm like, I want to know what's going on. This is as much of an adventure for me as it is for you guys. I don't know where they're taking me. I don't know if I'm going to get messages from this. I don't know if this is for other people specific. With that one. Okay. Oh my God. Okay. So let's stop there for now. So the first card is saying you are safe and supported while you change your career. So I know it's super, super scary when you are leaving one career and going into another one. And I can tell you from experience, when I left real estate after 20 years, I bawled my head off. And I hated that job for the most part. I got to hate that job. I got to the point where I hated getting out of bed. I hated what I was doing. I was not fulfilled in that career. And my income was going up and down at the same time. My emotions were up and down. And when I was busy, I was working all the time. And I was just freaking miserable. I knew I had to get out of that. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do. That was when I decided to start doing essential oils. But I remember the day that I went in to sign the paperwork, I bawled my head off like I was divorcing something. You know, I was divorcing something that needed to go, but scared to death to go to the new world. So this is just saying you are protected as you make that shift, as scary as it is. They wouldn't be kicking you out of the nest if there was not a good reason for this. So for those of you that have been fired, have been let go, downsized, whatever the case is, the universe does have your back, and there's a reason they wanted you out of there in the first place. So just keep that in mind. The second one is, oh my God, career change. All right, you saw me. I shuffled those cards, and I told you what I thought this was going to be about. This is so freaking weird. I mean, it's not weird. This is exactly how this happens. Okay, I'm going to get really wound up here, I can tell. You're embarking upon a career that brings you the joy and abundance you desire and deserve. So this is, I'm like, this almost makes me want to cry, because I know what it feels like to be in that situation where you do not know what the future holds. And change is coming, and it's scary. And this is where you have to really, really, really dig down deep and decide if you are going to let the universe take control, and if you're going to let go of the steering wheel, or if you're going to try to hang on tight, because the harder you try to hang on, the worse it gets. So for those of you in that situation right now, that is what their message is let go of the steering wheel and let them guide you to where they are going. My hands are tingling. The next one, study. Reading, research, and education help you gain confidence and clarity about your career. This could be a message for me. I feel like I have been studying my ass off for the last year, and getting a master's in spiritual awakening and everything else that goes along with the awakening process. So the thing that I want to say about this is, if there is something of interest that you cannot get enough of, you want to read this book on this, read a book on this, read a book on this, or if something feels like it's slamming you from every direction, there's a reason for that. The universe is trying to get you to pay attention. So for me, a couple of months ago, energy and emotions and all of that stuff started coming up and just like in my face, in my face, in my face. And so it's like they have taken me down a whole new path the last couple of months. And so I have been like soaking that shit up like a sponge. So if there is something that you are fascinated with, do not resist that. Follow that path and just go with it, because the universe is taking you someplace. Even if you don't know where they're taking you, they are taking you someplace. And I do not think you will be disappointed. Healer. You have the spiritual gift of healing and a desire to share it with others. Many people who go through the spiritual awakening want to become healers of some shape. I feel like everybody that's going through a spiritual awakening, everybody who is here on earth right now is going through all of this, and many of them want to come out the other end and they want to help heal people. And it could be in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it could be with herbs. It could be with, vibrations, like the tuning forks. It could be color therapy. It could be essential oils. It could be crystals. It could be anything that your heart is singing for and to do. Anything that is going to raise the vibrations of the earth is going to help heal people. There is going to come a time here when there's going to be a lot more people that's going to need help. And those of you who are kind of on the forefront, some of you are farther along than others. Some of you have already figured out what your purpose and passion is. Some of you are just starting to figure out what your purpose and passion is. Just follow I feel like I want to go follow the yellow brick road. Just follow the yellow brick road and the universe will take you where you need to be. Put on your sparkly red shoes. I have sparkly red toenails on right now. that I got at the salon the other day, and I didn't mean to get them so sparkly. And she was like, "This is holiday color," and she called me boring when she told me that. When I told her I was single and never been married and I worked from home, and I was like, "You have got to be kidding me! I have sparkly red toenails on, and you think I'm boring? I have got the best job in the world." Anyway, however, the healing takes place. Reiki, energy healing, like I said, crystals. I'm sure there's a crap ton of other healing energy sources, things, whatever in that ball that you want to call as a healer. It doesn't have, I mean, it could be traditional medicine. I don't know. Naturopath, name it. Children. Some of you have an affinity for children. Your life purpose involves helping, teaching, and healing children. I also feel like I felt like I heard the word autistic. Some of you work with autistic children. And this is the one thing that I want to say is, honestly, for the longest time, I used to be, and I remember when I said this was going to be random shit that came out. So just go with the flow. I used to be on the leadership team at St. Luke's Singles. So 10 years ago, I used to lead groups of singles and trying to get them out mingling and just, it's lonely being single and not having anybody when you want to have somebody. And I knew for me, I've never met a stranger. So if I had a hard time meeting somebody, I could only imagine people who were kind of socially awkward would have a hard time meeting people. And it seemed like there were a lot of people on the autistic spectrum that used to come to the meetup group. And at that time, I was very uncomfortable with people who had autism. And I have since learned that autistic people, children, teenagers, adults, however old they are, they speak the truth. They don't lie. They don't know how to lie. So it's like source, universal consciousness coming through them and out their mouth. When I went to Sedona last year, I had a reader that I could tell was a little tinge on the autistic spectrum, and I had him do a reading for me because I was like, I want somebody that I can trust. And I'm like, I'm not gonna, anybody that's got autism, if they say something to me, it may hurt, it may trigger you, me, anybody. If somebody that has autism says something, but they are speaking the truth and you need to listen to what they say. I know that's a little bit of a tangent. Again, I've warned you ahead of time that I don't know where this place is taking us. Teaching, you inspire young people to learn. Okay, so here's another one. It goes along with the children. Whoever's watching this, there's going to be some of you that are into teaching children. It doesn't have to be autistic children, but that feels like there might be a pocket of you that do work with autistic children. And author, you have a book inside of you that wishes to be expressed. Make the time to write it. So that's kind of the other pocket. So there. That's kind of who might get the most benefit from this reading. But again, I'm not saying that something won't come out in 10 minutes that has something to do with you. So I'm going to take these. I'm like stuttering. I'm like, blah, 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 blah. I apologize. Like I said I feel like I've got a big old ball of energy behind me and they've got a whole lot of shit that they want to get out. And I'm trying to like, I'll be speaking in tongues before the end of this. Okay, so there was something that just fell out. I don't know. I'm just going to take them out. Okay. Fear and abundance both came out. Those are polar opposites. So let's think about that. It's very hard to get abundance when you have fear. So let's talk about those two things. and this may come in where a channel comes in. Let's talk about fear first. Fear comes from I feel like the 3D plane, the physical world, the parents, the grandparents, the media, everything that we experience when we are down here on earth. Everything is about fear. And I also feel like the fear is a lot about control. So just kind of think about, there's a whole lot of people, not good. And I don't want to use the word bad. Uninformed, maybe, is the word I want to use. There's a whole lot of uninformed people that think they need to control the masses. Religion comes along in this. I mean, my God, I'm like, I need to study this more. But years and years and years ago, religion kind of came into place because they wanted to control the masses. And I'm going to tell a story here because for some reason I'm just going to keep saying this. Remember, this is a random reading. I don't know where this is taking us, but it's going to take us someplace. I did a past life reading for someone, God, years ago, 4 years ago, whatever. I do past life readings in case anybody's interested, not just tarot cards. And in that reading, it was back in the 1400s, and it was two people. She was like, God, what did I do to this person? Why is she always trying to do this to me? And blah, 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 blah. So anyway, we went back to a couple of lifetimes trying to figure out where this, like they were going like this out. And in the second one, it took place in the 1400s, and it was two people that were in the Catholic Church. One was higher than the other, and the one that kind of was the smarter of the two was like in a lower position. And then the higher ups came in and they said, you need to tell the townspeople that it's going to be mandatory to start going to church. And there's going to be a lot of people that don't like this. So you need to like be very nonchalantly about it and try to like break this gently type of thing to this person. So this person doesn't listen to what this group up here says, and they go in and they just kind of blurt it out. And it ends up causing a riot in the town when they said it's going to be mandatory that you go to church, and it pissed like all of the townspeople off. Well, that was an issue of control. You know, obviously people don't like to be controlled, and that was the Catholic Church coming in to exhibit control. And so the whole town ended up, I'm like, and I saw like, I think it's called a something cocktail, whatever. It's like where you have a bottle of alcohol and you stick the rope or cloth or whatever and you light it on fire. And it was like, I could see bottles being thrown in through church buildings and buildings. I mean, there was like a riot and half the town burnt and everything because all these people were so pissed off about being told that they had to go to church. And the one that wasn't in the higher up position was kind of like, I told you not to do that. I told you that was not the right way to go about that. And this person kind of like the higher ups came in and like going, what the hell did you do? We told you to go easy about it. And blah, you know, so anyway, that was an exhibit of control from the higher ups. They were trying to exhibit fear on people, and those kind of people bucked the system. But anyway, I feel like there's more that's going to come out about the fear, but right now I'm going off on a tangent. So it's very hard to be abundant and have fear at the same time. Those are like polar opposites. It's like you can't love and you can't hate at the same time. So you kind of have to pick your sides. You either need to decide to stay in the love section, love side of the road, or you need to stay in the fear. No, you don't want to stay in this. They're going, no, we don't want you to stay on the fear side. But a lot of people go. And so it's like, I feel like you're like driving down the road and you're like, some days you're in the love side and some days you're in the fear side. And you're like going this way and like driving down the road. And you're on this lane and then you're in this lane. And then you're in this lane and then you're in this lane. And you don't understand why you keep veering off into the fear side. Well, that's because that was programmed into you from parents. You know, you have to do this or this bad thing's going to happen. You have to do this or this bad thing's going to happen, or you're going to have to do this or this bad thing's going to happen. So there's been a lot of negative programming that's happened to you in your lifetime. So that's why it's so hard to get that fear out of you. And I feel like that's where the universe is helping people understand that fear is an illusion. And the universe doesn't have any fear in it. I mean, if you picture this big ball of universal energy, source, God, whatever name that you want to call it, there isn't any fear in that. And you're a piece of that. You came down here as a person, with emotions and feelings and everything. And this fear that kind of came in has come in from the 3D world. The you know, whatever. So I don't know if that makes any sense or not, but like I said, random crap gotta be coming out here. And okay, that one fell on. Well, there's two of them. Celebration. Oh my God, I'm dizzy all of a sudden. Okay. Celebration. Okay. What do we got here? Like, okay, hang on a second. I feel like this is some of you are going to celebrate soon when you realize, when you finally get out of the mud and the muck, when you finally decide to let go of the fear, walk away from the fear, walk away from the control, walk away from the coulda, woulda, shoulda shit, you're going to celebrate and you're going to think, oh my God, why didn't I get to this place sooner? It's a whole lot happier over on the love and abundance side. There's a whole lot of happy people on the love and abundance side. So if you're hanging around with a lot of people that are living on the fear side, no wonder. It's like their crap's rubbing off on you. So you need to like just get away from them. Just get away from the people that are keeping your vibrations down. Inner child. Okay, so what do we want to say about inner child? Okay, apparently, since my voice just kind of cracked there, that has something to do with speaking up. When you were a child, it was not okay to speak up. It was better to be seen and not heard. And I don't feel this way now, but for the longest time when for years, I felt like I was in everybody's way and I wasn't wanted around. And I think that came from being a child. I mean, I can picture being, you know, like the adults being in the kitchen at my grandma and grandpa Stone's playing cards, and the adults are having adult talk, and we kids maybe come running in and making noise, and they're like, get out of here, get out of here, get out of here. I was always made to feel like I was in the way, not good enough to be there. Same thing with my grandma and grandpa Bod side of the family. Like, the adults would be in there talking about sex and babies and adult things that they didn't necessarily want the kids to hear. Maybe problems in the family, you know, secrets, marital problems, whatever shit was going on in the kitchen that the adults were talking about. And they were like, you kids go out and play. You kids go out and play. So we were never allowed to, you know, join in on that kind of stuff. And I was always made to feel like I was less than. And, you know, you can't back talk to your parents, and, you know, and so it's like there wasn't any way for you to go, that's not right. Okay, so here's something else. I was not sexually abused as a child, but I feel like this is a message for people who were sexually abused. Many of you were taken advantage of when you were children, and you did not speak up. You were not allowed to speak up, and even if you did speak up, sometimes it didn't go over well. You have held that stuff inside of you for years, years and years and years and years, and you have got to get that shit out of you if you want to be able to move on. You need to understand why that happened to you. You need to understand that the person that did that to you probably, oh God, I don't even know how far to go down this rabbit hole. I'm just gonna leave it here because, like I said, I'm gonna do several readings over the weekend, so this is probably gonna come up more than once. For those of you that have had sexual molestation in your past, that is a deep, deep, deep wound that is still within your soul, I am sure. It is something that's very difficult to get rid of. That probably has a lot to do with anything and everything that has gone wrong in your life. You have taken that energy inside of yourself and manifested negative energy within. And I feel like I'm seeing that like negative, the vortex of tornado energy within yourself, of full of hate, because you may have spoken up or you were told not to speak up. Don't tell anybody that this has happened. Nobody's going to believe you anyway. So you ate that stuff and just left it inside of you. You have tried to eat your way out of this hole. You have tried to have sex out of the hole, to get yourself out of the hole, shopping, drinking, abusing drugs, gambling, whatever, to numb the pain of what happened to you when you were a child. There is a whole lot of healing that needs to go on around that. And that's what's wrong with a lot of you right now. And I feel like on a subconscious level, you all know that. I feel like some of that may have been buried with a lot of you people, but it's probably going to start coming to light relatively fast. Or I feel like it has recently come to light and you're looking at this and you're like, what am I supposed to do with this? How am I supposed to heal from this? I don't know how to heal from this. I'm just going to keep going. We'll talk more over the weekend. There are ways to heal from that. And I feel like it has a lot to do with this energy, blocked energy, sacral chakra cleansing and things. So I'm not going to go into it deep right now, but there's going to be, there's going to be more coming out about sexual molestation over the weekend. That's all I can say about how to heal from that. Okay, what else? See, I told you there was stuff that wasn't meant to come out on the horoscopes. You know, how do you bring in sexual molestation at a horoscope thing? That's too deep for that. Enchantment in birth. Oh God, what does enchantment mean? I feel like you're enchanted. Okay, this sounds very egoic, but I'm not trying to be that way. I feel like you are very enchanted by this reading. You're like, wow, how does she do that? Well, the thing you need to know is everybody can do what I do. And if this is of interest to you, let me know. I can teach you how to do this so you can heal your own wounds. You can be enchanted by people like me, but you need to know that people like me, the goddess, because I feel like I've stepped into my goddess power lately a lot. There's a goddess inside of you too. So you need to know that. She may be the size of an acorn right now, but there is a goddess of you there is a goddess inside of you that is dying to grow and come out and take over. So we're going to work on that. We're going to teach you how to grow that acorn into a big old giant oak tree, goddess, wild woman who speaks her truth just like I do. So that's coming. More of that to come. So it feels like the goddess in you has birthed and she is a baby right now. and you're just ready to let her grow somehow, some more. So is there anything else about birth? There also feels like there was some trauma at birth for some of you. So for those, okay, all right. So for those of you who still have your parents around, I want you to ask them about your birth. How did your birth go? Who was there for the birth? Ask them about this. And this is making me remember when I started doing past life readings, I had a couple that I went to help me kind of get a grasp on some of my past stuff, how to do it. And one of the things they did was they took me back to my birth and had me remember what was going on with my birth. Now at the time, my mom was gone, so I could not ask her, but my dad was still alive and I was able to go and ask him. So they kind of took me back in this meditation and they were like, tell me what was going on, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, my grandma Bod was there. My grandma Bod was my mom's mom. And I was like, what? I was so shocked that it showed in this meditation that my grandma Bod was at my birth. The reason that was such a shock was my grandma Bod had 9 kids. My grandma Bod did not drive. And they lived 30 minutes away from the hospital where I was at, which would have meant that she would have had to get my grandpa Bod to drive her into town for this birth. And I was like, when we had this meditation, I was kind of like, that can't be right. That just, what? You know? And I called my dad and I was like, Dad, I have a dumb question. I was like, was Grandma Bod at my birth? Tell me kind of, what do you remember about me being born? And he was like, oh my God. He goes, your Grandma Bod, she drove me freaking crazy. She was so worried. She was like so worried about your birth. And she was like, I want to be there. I want to be there. And so I called her when your mom went into labor. Now I'm going by memory only. So this has been about 5 years ago since I've heard this story, and my dad is gone now, so I can't even ask him again for recall. So I'm going by memory. But he said, I called your grandma and told her that your mom was going into labor, and so she ends up getting to the hospital. And he goes, here I am. This is my first kid. I'm a nervous wreck anyway. And your grandmother sit out in the lobby with me, wringing her hands. Oh my God, I just know something's wrong. I just know something's wrong. And of course, nothing happened when I was born. As far as I remember, I think they used the things on my head, forceps. They used forceps at that time. I do not recall anything else. I was 8 pounds, 12 ounces. I was very healthy. And as far as I can recall, there was nothing bad about my birth that happened. But my dad said the next time that, so I was right when I did that meditation. For whatever reason, my grandma was really stressed out about that birth though. And he said when my brother was born, she said she wanted to be told when Rusty was going to be born, and that he goes, I just accidentally forgot to tell her because I didn't want her at the hospital because she made me a nervous wreck when you were born. So for whatever reason, your people, your guides, the guides, whatever, feels like there is some healing that could happen around your birth. So again, if your parents are still around or anybody that may have been there for your birth, ask them about it. I don't know why. There might be something significant around your birth that might put some pieces together. And again, this comes into one of the books that I'm reading, Feelings Buried Alive Never Die. The whole first 2 or 3 chapters about that is about how traumatic the baby's birth is. Sometimes very, very traumatic. And that energy sticks in the baby's body for life. unless you get rid of it. So just keep that in mind. Feelings buried alive never die. I can't remember who it's by now, but you can send me a message if you can't find it on Amazon. Truman, by somebody Truman. Truman, last name. Okay. Let me come out of the haze, because when my eyes are closed, is what I'm channeling. I've got to pick up some more cards. How much time have I done? 35 minutes. Holy crap. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to do one more and then I'm going to stop for this one, I think. Maybe. I don't know. I'm feeling led to do the chakra cards. Oh my God. I'm like so out of it right now. I'm like, I really love when I have this feeling. I feel like I'm high almost. You really should learn how to channel or do readings or do cards, because it's a great feeling. Okay, so what, I don't know what's coming out of these, but I'm going to do these and then we're going to stop. Nope, they want that one. And this one, and this one, and this one. I'm taking a piece here from Liz at Guided by Angels. I like the way she does her cards. Usually I let mine flip, fly, or fall, but those big cards are kind of hard to do. So let's get like one last final thing from whoever's back there with this ball of energy. So sacral chakra. Okay. This could very well go along with the sexual abuse. Any of you who, I can't talk. Any of you, God, can't spit it out. Those of you who had sexual abuse in your past probably have blocked sacral chakras. You need to look that up and figure out how to unblock that. Because just imagine, I mean, I got to be honest, I didn't really believe in all that chakra shit for years. I've heard about him. I'm like, yeah, it's a bunch of baloney. But until I started doing kind of studying about the energy and the emotions and all of that, everything's kind of starting to tie in for me. And I'm starting to understand that whether there are actually 7 blockages, that energy does get stuck in the body and it does cause problems. So, okay. They're like, we'll talk more about that over the weekend. Grounding. Nature, presence, practicality, stability, grounding. Okay, so for a lot of you who are struggling at the moment, because like I said, this reading feels like it's for people who are in free fall. Grounding can happen in many, many, many ways. One of the really great ways is to get out in the trees, in the nature. You know, I live in an apartment complex. I can't go lay in the middle of the grass because I'm going to look like a fool. Plus, I don't want all the chemicals all over me. Blech. But if there is a place where you can go and walk barefoot, walk in the trees, the flowers in the northern hemisphere are getting ready to bloom. We have a